All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Misfit Corner Comics. This is the artist known as Andrew speaking, and I am live streaming. Haven't done this in a few weeks because I was out of town last week. So now we're just getting back into it. I've sent an invite to Todd and Avery to see if either one of those guys can join. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my trip. Um, had a good time. Had a good time. And one of my things that I did during this trip is I visited a couple of comic book stores in the area that we were in, which was Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. And then on the drive home, I stopped off at a couple other um, comic shops just to check it, see what they had. Had wildly different results. Found some good shops, found some really crappy shops, but had a good time overall. I did buy some comics, nothing really for the store, mostly just stuff to fill holes of stuff that I was missing for my own collection. But everything that goes into my collection eventually goes in the store anyway, so it'll be there. But there was a couple of comics that I missed out on because the local stores here either didn't order them or didn't have any copies left. And I was able to find all the ones I was looking for. So I was very excited about that. And I will, of course, share them with you. But it was a good trip overall. For those of you on the scam side, which nobody watching tonight is going to be one on the scam side of the channels, continued to get numerous calls the entire time I was gone, from the drive up to the drive down, multiple calls. I told my wife Jen that I have at least 4 or 5 that when I download the file, it says, whatever the date was of the call, the type of call, and if it was a good call that's worth making a video out of, it says gold. So I have at least 4 or 5 audio recordings that are gold. So those will be fun to make into videos. I'll be working on that probably this weekend and the rest next week. So there'll be. My goal is always to put out a new video every day on the Scam channel, and I prepared ahead of time. So I had one that went up this morning, and I have one that's scheduled for tomorrow. But after that, I got to make new content, and I've got plenty to work with. So they don't stop calling, and that's just the way it goes. So it's always a lot of fun. But so while I was up on my trip, this was Lake of the Ozark, which, by the way, there is no comic book store in Lake of the Ozark. I had to actually drive about a half hour to 40 minutes away in order to find a comic book store. The closest one was in Jefferson City, which is the capital of Missouri. I'd never been there before, so we've driven past it. But I took an opportunity to go visit a store up there. There was actually 2 stores listed, but turns out one of them no longer exists. So I stopped at one, found a couple of comics I liked, had a good time there, and then decided, after not finding the second one because it didn't exist anymore, I drove to another comic shop in Columbia, Missouri, which was about half hour away, and totally different experience. And then the next day when I started to head out, I hit 2 stores in, where were they? Mount Vernon, which I believe might have been in Tennessee. I don't remember. I'll have to Google it to find out for sure. And then I hit one more store in Illinois and another store in close to Chattanooga. So I went to a total of 6 stores, and I have to say, half of the experiences were great. But it was very funny in the fact that I got to see what small town comic stores looked like. Because in this town, we only have a few stores. Like, when I'm saying comic stores, I'm talking new comic stores that carry new comics. My store doesn't carry new comics. I don't have a Diamond account. I don't have an account where I'm getting DC and Marvel comics every week. It's all back issues, which Honestly, I have no problem with that. I like finding stores like that, and I found a couple like that, but their setups were completely different than what I have in mind when it comes to my comic book store. Sorry, I didn't get to the mute button fast enough. Let me do that real quick. Sorry, much better. Talking so much, throat gets dry. Matter of fact, let me take something to drink. And I end up having a cough. You guys know how that goes. But needless to say, let me grab the books over here. You know what's really funny is earlier this evening, I'm not going to tell you which call it was, but I got a call in which I was laying down, actually laying down taking a nap. Oh, Avery's here. Let me bring him in. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
So I was just telling the people of the stories of my road trip recently. Driving back from Missouri, stopped at a couple of different comic book stores, and I was talking about the experience. I hit several small stores on the way. A couple in Missouri, a couple in Tennessee, a couple in Illinois, and radically different experiences. But how's it going? How are you doing?
Not so hot.
Not so hot? You under the weather?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that sucks, man. Hold on a second. I got to turn up. I can barely hear you for some reason. I hope everybody can hear you, but I can barely hear you.
Maybe I'm not talking loud right now.
Well, it could also be this thing. So, is it allergy season or?
No, I'm just having issues.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I won't keep you very long if you need to get some more rest. I know that's always an issue for you, though.
I've slept most of today.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
that's totally opposite of what I expected you to say.
Yeah, I didn't sleep last night though.
Yeah, yeah. Are you able to get any work done, or is it one of those where you just can't do?
Not while I'm. The problem I'm having is.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Doing its thing. It's pretty painful.
I gotcha. I gotcha. How's your mom doing?
She's all right.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so drove up to Missouri last Friday and Saturday, and then drove back yesterday and the day before, and it was a good trip. We had a little bit of traffic in Atlanta, which, duh, you kind of expect.
Uh-huh.
But overall, I was going to stop in Atlanta to see Jason because I have a box of comics I need to return to him, and the the day I was supposed to show up, I was like 3 4 hours behind what I originally was going to try to do, and I texted him and said, "Dude, I am so tired. I just want to go home." And he says, "Don't worry about it. Don't stop. Just keep going." He said, "It'll give me an excuse to have to come and visit you in your store." And I went, "Oh, okay, that works." So I just kept driving through. But I did wave as I went past Adele. I figured if I was going to stop, it would have been very nice of me to make arrangements ahead of time and not just pop in,
Mm-hmm.
because I know you're not a pop in kind of guy.
Yeah.
So sorry, I didn't even think about it. I honestly, for some reason, I kept thinking that area of Georgia is up 95, not 75.
No, it's up 75.
And I just totally blanked out on it. And on the way up, I completely missed it. I wasn't paying attention at all. I was just
That's all
driving.
right.
So we'll be making more trips soon. So, and I will obviously contact you ahead of time.
Okay.
If I don't, I know you don't like pop-ins. I don't personally like pop-ins, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to, you know, be a bad friend.
That's all right.
Actually, our next trip is Charlotte, but we go up 95 for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, me and Raphael are going to go visit Todd. So
Mm.
I'm looking forward to that.
All right.
That should be a good show. So what's new and happening with you? Any other than the regular stuff?
Just working on the devoid stuff right now.
Yeah, yeah. How's the computer and the setup coming along?
Oh, I don't even have the new computer working yet. I haven't. I
Oh,
haven't.
jeez.
I haven't had time to troubleshoot it to see what's going on.
Any idea what's causing the issues or
No,
no?
it just doesn't boot all the way. It acts like it's going to, then doesn't.
That is so weird.
It is weird.
Is it? Do you have tech support available, or are you just
No,
doing it all on your own?
I don't have anything available. No,
Mm. What about Geek Squad? I have no idea.
no.
I've never taken anything to Geek Squad except to, you know, break a screen and they send it off and get you a new phone. You know,
Yeah, I have no idea.
I have no idea if they can help with stuff like that.
I,
But
I don't need their help.
okay. Well, I was just saying, man, you never know. Oh, so you want to see some of the comics I got?
It may just be a matter since it's the first time I've turned it on. I need to hook it to a monitor that doesn't need a driver
Mm.
because there's some sort of boot process to start with.
Now the computer you're building, it's a custom built, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I've never had experience with the custom computers. I've always bought one out of the box.
Yeah.
And just went with it. So this is sounds like a whole new experience. But you've done custom stuff before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't one of your old work ones a built one?
This one, the
No,
one
but
I'm on,
prior to this. Oh,
this
the one you're working on.
the
Oh,
one
okay.
I'm working on is yes.
Okay.
I would have bought from them again, but they didn't. They didn't have the video cards in
Oh yeah.
that I want. Actually, I still didn't get the video card I wanted. It would have been another $1,200.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah,
But you did get the one you wanted though, right?
it's close enough.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, my hope is feel better, get back to work, make some beautiful art. I know you will.
I'm working on art now.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So you want to see some of the comics I picked up this weekend? I mean, nothing extraordinary. Just some regular stuff that I had missed. Just you know, just a couple comics. But I found a copy of King Conan #2. This is the one where the last page in all the future reprints is going to be edited. The quote unquote Indian princess is going to be wearing a potato sack in all the reprints from this issue. I had the issue that came after this, issue #3, which tells her story, but this is actually the issue that had her first appearance. And
Yeah, they butchered the art.
yep, yep. And this was a store I went to in Mount Vernon.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's Tennessee, maybe Kentucky. I don't remember it exactly, but
Did they charge you something stupid for it?
nope, nope. It was one that was still on
On
the
the shelf.
rack on the shelf. So yeah.
Really? So they really missed opportunity.
Possibly. I mean, guide wise, it hasn't done anything, but
Yeah.
the simple fact that there's controversy about it,
Eventually, it could do something.
it could. So plus, it's also got Mahmoud Asarad art, which is fantastic. So it's worth having just for that, you know. The other thing I picked up from that store was issue #2 of Twig, which is the like the kid-friendly Scotty Young series from Image, which I did not know. This is only like a 5-issue limited series. It's not an ongoing. Why the hell is my phone blowing up right now? You hear my phone going crazy. I don't know why. Oh, people talking on Discord. I got to turn off notifications on Discord, but well, no big thing. All right, so another store I stopped in had new comics. 4 of the stores I went to had new comics. 2 of the stores, well, no, I should say, well, yeah, the second one. All right, In Illinois, there is a town called Metropolis. And if you imagine this little town has a lot of Superman stuff everywhere. Home of Superman. Actually, in the
Yes.
middle of the town, there's a large statue of Superman,
Yeah,
right?
I've heard of it.
You would think they would have a kick ass comic book store
Yeah,
in this town.
they probably have next to nothing.
They did have a store that sold comics, but when I went into it, it was very much, I swore I was walking into a Spencer's Gifts when I first got there, because the whole front section was tchotchkes and things and all this different stuff, and I'm like, oh, this
Yeah.
isn't
But
what I want. But in the
yeah.
back, they had comics, and they had. I hate going into a comic book store where you don't know how much a comic costs. They have boxes and boxes of comics, and you have no idea how much they cost. There's no prices on them. They're just in the box. And they had bagged and boarded comics. They had unbagged and boarded comics. It's like, I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to say, hey, how much are these comics? Because I don't want to know. I want to be able to see it and know ahead of time. And there's no signage anywhere. So I walked around, I looked at the comics, and I saw their section of new comics, which I don't know if they're really new or not. And then I left. But there was another store that I went to that was literally, if you say I have a store at the flea market, this is what you imagine the flea market store would look like. There's stuff everywhere. There's stacks of comics everywhere. There's no way to find anything. Actually, two of the stores I went into literally had stacks of comics everywhere, to the point where the guy doesn't know what he's got. You're not going to find anything. It's not worth even staying in the store.
Mm.
And this one of the ones I went to, which was in Columbia, I forgot the name of it, but there was an empty box underneath a table that had a sign that said 50-cent comics, but there was nothing in it. And then there was three boxes next to it with a small stack of comics in each one. And I asked the guy, I said, are these also 50 cents, or is it only the empty box? He's like, it's only the empty box. Like, okay. Like, I mean, I probably would have laid down $30 or $40 if you had 50-cent comics, because I love 50-cent comics.
Yeah.
But nope, he didn't have any. It's like, okay. But I picked up a couple of regular issues from him. He had just from last week, Step by Bloody Step, #4, which is the last issue in this series. Absolutely freaking love this series. It is gorgeous. This is, I just love it. It's great. It's great. Great art. The story's good. And I'm so looking forward to sitting down and going through all 4 issues all over again. This is one of those types of books, Avery. If you remember, you would buy an issue, you would really like it. You would buy the next issue, and once the story was complete, it came out in a trade or a hardcover, you would buy that and you would give the issues themselves to somebody else to read, and you would keep the hardcover collection. This is one of those type of stories for me.
Okay, cool.
I love it. I love it. And the other thing I picked up was Shadow War Omega #1, which is the last part of the Shadow War storyline, the one about Ra's al Ghul getting killed.
Yeah.
I bought the first issue of that series, the alpha issue, and I liked it. So I kept going, and I got all the parts of the story. The only part of the story I didn't get was their like the file, whatever it is, which is like a bunch of little mini stories. I'm like, I'm not spending the money on that. I skipped it. But overall, I liked it. Most of the issues that were connected to the story had good art. The story was good. I was enjoying it. And I don't know if the wrap up is that great. I still haven't read this issue, but I flipped through it at least. So let's see what else I got here. Oh, I went to a store. I forgot what city it was in. It's another small store on the way called Rick's. It's not Rick's Comic Store. It's Rick's something. Rick's Comics, and he had 2 locations. They were close to each other, but far enough away that they were in different towns. But super sweet young lady was there with a guy. They were really great. They were very easy to talk to. It's a kind of comic book store that you go into where they have a big selection of pops.
Ugh.
You know, they do that to survive, but
Yeah,
they
yeah,
also have
they. You know what? Yeah, I try not to. Yeah,
yeah. I
because
try not to
they
judge.
have.
I try not to
Because
judge
you
because
do
yeah.
what you have to do to keep your doors open if you want to keep. So yeah.
But they had new comics on the wall, and they had like not just new comics, but like 2 or 3 months worth of new comics, which was great.
Hmm.
They had boxes. Now this is my only gripe about the store. They had boxes where everything was bagged and boarded, and when you pulled up an issue, some of them had prices, some of them didn't have prices. And I did ask, and the ones that don't have prices were cover price, which is fine. But then there was also other boxes where the comics were just bagged, and there was no sign like dollar comics, half cover, nothing. So I didn't ask, even though I was curious. I didn't ask. Plus, I didn't want to spend hours and hours in these stores, and I probably could have. I wanted to find what I was looking for and get out of there. Well, at that store, I got Robin, the new series that just came out, Robin issues number 1 and 2. I had bought these, enjoyed the hell out of them, put them in the store, and then somebody bought them. So I got an opportunity to buy them again for cover price. I did it because the story's good, the art's good. Plus, it was also the first. These 2 issues were the first appearance of a couple of new characters that haven't really made a splash yet, but they could. You never know. So it was worth picking up. And I also picked up from that store. Do you remember I was gushing over the Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen series, Image series, Little Monsters, the one about the kids vampires?
I guess so.
Okay, well, I have. Well, issue 1 came out and I loved it. And when issues 2, 3, and 4 were supposed to come out, the local stores here didn't have them. They just didn't order enough, or they ordered just enough to make the pool customers happy. So I missed out on issues 2, 3, and 4. Well, at this store, I found issue number 3, and in another store, I found issues 2 and 4. So I am now up to date with my Little Monsters, and
Okay.
I adore this book. And I found out that this is an ongoing series. So the first 6 issues is like the first story arc, and then it's going to keep on going, which is good because Dustin Nguyen's art style in some places is very sloppy, but it works for this series. This is a post-apocalyptic vampire kid story, and that works with his style. And plus, he's really good at drawing kids too. So the kids look like
Well,
kids.
he's a fantastic artist.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm adoring these covers. Like this is one of the covers where it has the group of kids, and I mean they all look fantastic.
I don't care for Jeff Lemire. He's a douche.
Well, yeah, but in this particular story, I'm just enjoying it, and I'm enjoying it more for the art than anything else. But the story's actually decent. So, but I also picked up issues 2 and 4 at another store, so I'm very happy. Here's something I normally probably would not have picked up. I picked up a Catwoman issue. And if I told you who was involved in this issue, you're probably going to say, why the hell would you buy that?
Probably Tom Kang.
No. Believe it or not, it's Teenie Howard is the writer.
I'm not familiar with her.
Oh, she's one of those crazy feminists, whatever, you know. But
all feminists.
Yeah. But this is Catwoman number 43. And the reason why I wanted to pick up this issue is, the art is Bengal, who his creator-owned series that he did for Image was very cool. Death and Glory or something like that. I've really enjoyed it. The art's fantastic. And the art in this issue wasn't bad. But here's the reason why it was worth picking up. It is the first DC comic book continuity introduction of a Batman the Animated Series villain. Very much like, Harley Quinn and so forth. Harley Quinn made her first appearance in Batman Adventures. Well, this character, who was originally introduced in the Batman Animated Series, has never appeared in the comics until now. Do you remember Red Claw?
No.
From the animated series?
No.
No? Oh, okay. I think she was in like one episode, and it was one of the early episodes. But this is her first comic book debut, is in this series. Or in this title.
She's kind of a buff chick, kind of like a
yes.
ripoff.
Yes, you
Yeah, okay, I remember.
had the red costume, the black hair, very much electric. But she was more of a muscle girl than anything
Hmm.
else. But yeah, this is her first appearance in the comic book continuity. So, which is interesting because Batman the Animated Series is like 30 years old now, and some of the characters are just now making it into the comics, which is kind of
Honestly,
crazy.
that show is the best
It is.
uh, version of Batman on film or TV, in my
I
opinion.
it
In my opinion,
not only does it stand the test of time, it's still, I don't want to say practical, but it works even to today. 30 years later, the show still works today.
yeah,
You know,
it's
Bruce Tim art, Bruce Tim style, Bruce
yeah.
Tim character designs. Just
The story and the stories, the animation, everything.
yep.
It's more Batman than almost anything else that's
Oh
in
God, yes,
in
God, yes.
theater screen.
And you know what's so funny is that it was simple, but it didn't talk down to kids. It didn't dumb down the stories. You
Yeah.
know, they were good stories. I always think back, one of my favorite stories was the one where Robin is trying to protect this little girl from her abusive father, and
Hmm.
she's
Hmm.
she's constantly running away from him, and Robin's trying to help her. And the twist in the story is that she was a creation of Clayface.
Hmm.
She's a piece of Clayface who'd been away from him for so long that she thought she was real. And when Clayface eventually catches up to her, he reabsorbs her, and it was like devastating in the story because there was so much emotion in there. But
Hmm.
I mean, it makes perfect sense for that character, for the character of Clayface. He is of one mind, but he can become anything else, and sometimes those anything else's kind of get a mind of their own. But it was a devastating story, I remember, because
Hmm.
Robin's trying to help this little girl and doesn't realize what's happening.
Yeah,
What's right in front of him. And it was a good one. I'm gonna have to
it
look that one
was.
up. I'm gonna look that episode up and just watch it again because it's probably on HBO Max because they've got all the Warner Brothers cartoons and everything. So
Oh, okay.
I'll Google it, find out the name of it, and watch it. So yeah, it's good stuff. And the only other thing I picked up was the latest previews. And dude, I mentioned this to Todd, I think at some point, where back in the day, the Mutant Massacre, the Fall of the Mutants, Inferno, these were the big summer crossover
Hmm.
stories that just just they redefined comics in a way, redefined characters and set. I mean, the whole Archangel thing came out of the Fall of the Mutants.
Hmm.
Archangel would have never have happened if not for the no Mutant Massacre,
Hmm.
Fall of the Mutants, all that stuff. Archangel was a pivotal role in Fall of the Mutants, but it started in Mutant Massacre.
Hmm.
Now we have the Hellfire Gala year two. That's their big thing right now. Everybody's getting to try on new costumes, and
It's terrible. You've got all the good guys and the bad guys living together on an island.
yeah.
It's so stupid.
Well, they now have a planet of their own too, so
That's stupid.
I know.
The-
But it's their big thing right now is a fashion show. Is their big thing. It kind of puts a little shiver down your spine, doesn't it? I found some older issues of some X Men, some other issues that I'd never seen before because they were before my time. While I was going to these shops, and it was like these are absolutely gorgeous. I wish I had more money to spend on me because I was sticking with just the current stuff. But oh, if I had money, I would have bought a bunch of that stuff. That stuff you don't see anymore. It's not around anymore. They have no plan to achieve the greatness. And back in those days, it wasn't great. It was just cool, you know. Now it's great. Oh well, I miss comics sometimes. How about you?
No, I hate them too much
Yeah,
now.
I know. I kind of knew where they. I'm like a lawyer. I don't ask the question unless I already know the answer. I knew the
Yeah.
answer to that one.
It's because they're not even trying. Like making something entertaining isn't a part of what's they're trying to do.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not trying to have fun. They're not trying to be entertaining. They're trying to. There's almost always just it's about some sort of political agenda.
Or social agenda.
Yeah, political or social agenda.
Yep.
It's not because it's a good story, because it's riveting, because there's a universal human element to it among all this fantastic, amazing adventure. No, they just want to push something on you, and it's creepy and it's weird.
Yeah. There's a in the latest previews. I was flipping through the image section because sometimes there's stuff in there that'll stand out. And there's like a new Tom King series coming out about. It's like a romance comic that's anything but a romance comic, but it's set in a romance comic. I'm reading what it's about. I like the artist that's working on it. I have no interest in this book whatsoever.
Mhm.
There's nothing there. And then there was another one. The plot of this comic was, every now and then they'll show it. They'll do a little. Oh, with the romance comic, it was like romance meets Groundhog's Day. The idea was that this woman was reliving or going through all these different romance situations, but the world's ending, and every time it ends, she has to relive a different romance. And I don't get it. Tom King, I don't get it. But this other comic pitch was Battle Royale meets the Golden Girls. The storyline is that when women get too old, they take them and they dump them on this island to live out the rest of their days. And these old women are fighting for survival on this island with a bunch of old women. And I'm like, why is that fascinating at all? I don't get it. But I think they literally put different names of different series and stuff on a wall, and then threw darts, and the two that hit were Battle Royale and the Golden Girls. And somebody said, "Ooh, make that into a comic."
That's what it sounds like.
It does, doesn't it? If that's the way they do it, I mean,
What's the next? Geriatric Park?
with dinosaur bones, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
No, it's just old people.
Old people being chased by dinosaurs. There's got to be dinosaurs in there somewhere.
No, the old people are the dinosaurs.
Avery, that could be the next big thing, man.
Yeah.
Go with it. Go with it. I kind of like what Todd is doing in his comic world building with the game that we're playing. Which,
Mhm,
by the way, I'm sorry I missed out yesterday
mhm.
and last week. So, are you guys still having fun with that?
It's moving along.
It's moving along. Okay. Well, that's a positive thing. I kind of like how it's working,
Mhm.
but I think the only thing that gets me is that there's so many broad strokes that are out there that when you focus in on one, it makes it a little bit easier.
That's what's been going on the last few weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Focusing on one story and
Mhm.
doing, yeah, yeah. I think that's good. But you got to get all the different stories out and then focus on one. It's all the different stories that are kind of crazy. But
Oh, I mean the new one has made like these characters. All of these characters are silly. They're parodies,
oh yeah.
but the story is getting deeper and deeper and deeper, dude. Like you missed out on something huge that happened in the
Oh
previous.
yeah.
Yeah,
I may have to go back and watch the show.
yeah,
Was it last night or last
yeah,
week?
yeah.
Okay.
A huge something huge happened that this became the origin of another character.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
For real.
That sounds cool.
It was pretty good.
Okay. Whose idea was it?
I think it was Todd's,
Oh, okay.
but basically, because what's what's that character? You know the one character is like that's like a Herald of Galactus.
Uh, the guy that looks like the Silver Surfer, but he's on a Segway.
He's in the
He
UPS
looks like a
outfit.
UPS delivery. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the King is the guy that becomes him.
Oh.
It's a whole. It's
Hmm.
it's pretty good.
Okay. Okay. I kind of imagine the king just suffering and dying for everything he does, but
No,
okay.
it's everything is circular, dude.
Well, some of the
It's
best stories are, you know.
it
Okay.
it's real evolution. It
Well,
it's really
I
good.
like the fact of having just not just the main character, but another character connected to the origin, to the beginning. And that
It's
seems like that in my mind. That seems like a character very much somebody who could be around for a long, long time. So cool. That's awesome. I'll have to check out the video.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what's the name of his channel for that? Clever,
Clever era.
clever era. Yeah,
Yeah,
I might have to find the video and link it in here. So,
yeah. It's like, oh man, you missed it.
well, that's all right. I'll come in this coming week and totally destroy everything. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, we're not going one person at a time now.
Oh, okay, that's good. Well, that was a suggestion that came up the last time I was on. You
Mhm.
know, kind of. Everybody, if you got an idea, shout it out instead of putting somebody on the
Yeah,
spot.
yeah. That's what we're doing for this part, for
Okay.
the refining part. And I mean, I only said a couple of things the whole show.
Well, I think that's the one thing about it that was difficult. Like there'd be times where it's late, my brain is completely blank, and all of a sudden now it's my turn to add to this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I have no
Well,
freaking
I mostly just say like silly shit.
yeah, yeah,
But thing is though, it might get someone else's brain working on something
right,
good.
right. I came up with ninja demon bats at one point, and what's his name? Zach just ran with it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it works, most times it's weird, but it's a very interesting way of creating stories. You
Yeah.
know.
I think a, a lot of it is at a point where you could hand it to one writer now and to tighten it up.
Right. Right. Okay. Oh, well, I didn't prepare much for tonight because I just got back from that long trip and I'm freaking still tired. I gotta run the store tomorrow and I'm actually looking forward to like some quiet time.
Mhm.
So everybody out there, nobody come to the store. Leave me alone. Well, my sister, I gotta tell you something that happened. My sister covered the store for me last weekend while I was gone,
Mhm.
and she texted me. She says, "I'm really sorry there weren't a lot of sales." I'm like, "Whatever amount of money you made was money I did not have
Yeah.
prior
Fun.
to it, so it doesn't matter. It's perfectly fine." But she had a
Yeah.
guy that came into the store. I don't know who it was, but came into the store and was looking at the original art, and he pulled out. I have 7 pages from original pages from Omega Man. 4 of them are in sequence, and then the other 3 are from another issue in sequence. And I really like the art. I like the stories. I like the stuff. Well, I had put a reasonable price of $75 a page. If somebody buys a single page and they mess up they take it out of order, whatever. 75 is not bad.
Mhm.
Well, the guy wanted to buy all 7 of them. And she called me and said, "Hey, I got somebody interested in buying these original pieces of art." I said, "Okay, no problem." And she says, "What can you do?" And I said, "Well, I've got 75 on each. So if I did 60, that would be 420. So I could do 400 for all of them. They wanted to buy all of them." Yeah, seems like a decent amount. And the guy was trying to lowball her and said offered her like 225, and I'm like, no, no, I'd rather just keep the art.
Yeah.
It's not that important to make a sale like that. Nope, I'd rather just keep the art. If I sat on the art for another 10 years,
What's it from?
Omega Men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 pages was from the main story of one issue, and then the other 4 pages were from a backup story from one of the issues. But it's original art. That's not something that you have to sell cheap, you know.
No, 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 no.
And
Even if
so
you sold them for 50 each, you'd make more money than that.
yeah, well, exactly, exactly. And but no, I think sometimes people may try to take advantage of the fact that I'm not there.
Sure.
And I know that's happened to Michael one time. I had another, because he described to me, somebody came into the store and they were looking at something and they made him an offer, and he kind of, okay, sure. And he sold like $30 worth of stuff for like $10, which when I went back and looked, I kind of broke even on it, but they were worth more than that.
Yeah.
And then when he described the guy to me, it was like, oh, that's one of the dealers down the other row.
Yeah. Yeah. He saw you weren't there and wanted to see if he could rip off the dude that was there.
And he did. But I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't lose any money, but still, I wouldn't have gone for the deal that was made. But it's all right. Mike did me a solid and took care of the store for me.
Yeah.
So, but all right. Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. I'm getting tired myself. I invited Todd, but I guess he's busy. Well, it is Friday night. He might be busy.
Yeah. Yeah. He's probably busy.
He's a busy dude. But I'm looking forward to being at the store this weekend. So if anybody out there is watching this video or watching this live stream later, and you're in the area, come check out the store. I have a much better setup than a lot of people out there. I mean, hell, I've got 50-cent comics that are bagged and boarded.
Yeah.
These
That's
other stores didn't have any of that.
no, that's true. A lot of 50-cent comics are not bagged and boarded. Some places, like it used to be the thing, a lot of places would destroy their 50-cent comics by like putting check marks on them and
Yep.
stuff. And
Yep.
I always hated that.
Yeah, I did too, but that was during a time when I didn't know any better. You know, it was the fact that I was getting comics for real cheap. I loved it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I still have. I mean, a lot of times I'm buying those books for reader copies anyway.
exactly.
But still, I mean,
Yeah. Some of my 50-cent books that are bagged and boarded could be building a collection or filling spaces in a collection. They're not reader copies.
yeah,
You know,
true, yeah,
I don't put a damaged book in a bag and board unless I absolutely have to, unless it's like old and still worth something. You know, I try not to. Sometimes some things slip by me, or I pretend like, oh, that slipped by me. But needless to say, everybody out there, have a wonderful weekend. Everybody be safe, and we'll talk to y'all next week. Oh, actually, I should be doing my live stream on the Scam channel tomorrow night at 8.
Oh, okay.
I like that one. That I just talk about scam stuff, and oh man, Avery, my mother-in-law on the drive up was shocked at how many scam calls I got. And I took every single one of them. I grabbed every one I could. And she's like, it's the Medicare people calling you again? I said, I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get 3 or 4 a day.
Yep. Oh, I get more than that, but I love it. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And I had one call. The guy called while I was on the road, and it was the electric company, claiming to be from the electric company and saying, we're going to give you a discount or we're going to give you a bonus. All you have to do is give us your credit card information. So no problem. I give him a credit card information. And the guy said, you know, this is different from the number you gave me yesterday. I said, did I talk to you yesterday? He said, yeah. I said, were you the guy that called me an effing mother effer and then hung up on me? And then called back the next day? Because what he kept saying is, last time I called you, you gave me a different credit card number and it didn't work. I said, well, obviously I'm trying to give you a new one this time. It was the same guy. Hilarious. But I don't think he was the one that cursed me out. He transferred me to somebody else who cursed me out. And then, you know, that's perfect. I love it. I love it when they break character. Mwah! Beautiful stuff.
I love it when they break character.
That's right. Oh, I had a real good one, and I'll talk more about it on the stream tomorrow night. But
Uh-huh.
it was one of the Medicare ones where I just start screwing with the guy. And at one point, I said, "I'm so sorry. You got to forgive me. I'm just a stupid American." He goes, "That's the first true thing you've said." And I said, "Really?" He says, "Yeah, you Americans are dumb. You're dumbass." He started going off on me, and
Hold on. The first what? My headset got unplugged.
when I jokingly said I was a dumb American, he said, "That's the first truthful thing you've said this entire time." And he started going off on Americans and how stupid we are and how they always fall for these things. And I'm like, damn, give it to me, brother. Give it to me. I love it.
It's really you're stupid, but you're not falling for his shit.
Yep. I had a credit card scammer call me a loser one time. I'm like, I'm the loser? Okay.
Yeah. I'm not falling for your shit, so I'm a loser.
That's right.
That's but people who are really underhanded see everything through that kind of broken lens.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's the same way as a bully who gets mad. Like they get mad when someone fights back and kicks their ass.
Right.
They're
Right.
like, I'm a victim. It's like, well, you started it. They finished it.
Yep. Well, the funny thing is they think what they're doing, even though they're stealing and trying to rob people, it's their job. They're just doing their job.
Yeah. They're so broken.
Yeah, I know. It's a very, very weird society over there where stealing money from other people, that's fine. It's a job.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh well. All right, well, we'll talk more about it tomorrow night. So if anybody out there wants to join, it's on the regular channel, Misfit Corner Scams. I usually live stream at 8, talk for an hour, and it's usually nonstop me talking. So, but it's always a lot of fun. So, all right, everybody. Peace out. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.